The killings of Lacey Peterson and JonBenet Ramsey shook the nation, but there are millions of other homicides that never make national news. These accounts contain detailed descriptions of real-life incidents, which may be unsettling to some viewers. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at the saddest cases ever in court. Yeah, you heard it right. The Pepin sisters who murdered their bosses in cold blood. In France in 1926, sisters Léa and Christine Pepin served the Lancelin family as live-in slaves. According to historic mysteries, it was stated that they behaved strangely, never spoke to anyone but themselves, and displayed little interest in anything other than each other. They worked well and lived with the family for over 7 years. Then one night in February 1933, Mr. Lancelin, who had been waiting for his wife at a friend's house, returned home to discover his wife and adult daughter lying in a pool of blood on the floor. Their eyes were gouged out and their faces were battered in. According to the Vintage News, the authorities discovered the Pepin sisters laying on a bed together with a bloody hammer nearby after a locksmith was called to unlock their room and unlock the door. The Pepin sisters instantly admitted their guilt. Christine's separation from her sister caused her great anguish in prison, but she was finally granted permission to visit Léa. Doctors who examined the Pepin sisters dismissed signs of a sexual relationship despite reports that the sisters were uncomfortably close to one another. Several months later, Christine suffered a mental collapse and attempted a self-mutilation. Christine was convicted of being the mastermind behind the killings and was sentenced to life in prison, while Léa was finally released from prison in 1943 and was able to secure employment at a French hotel under a new identity. She's supposed to have passed away around 1982, though this has never been proven. Acid bath murderer John George Hay. In the late 1940s, John George Hay was a British serial killer. According to Forensic Magazine, he used to dispose of his victims' bodies by burning them in sulfuric acid. Hay believed that he was literally getting away with murder because he erroneously believed there was no crime without a body. His hubris ultimately led to his capture when he led police to the remains of his sixth and final victim, Olive Duran Deacon, 69 years old. Hay claimed instantly throughout his trial and said that he drank the blood of his victims. In 1949, he was found guilty and executed a few months later. Robert Berdella, the Butcher of Kansas. The New York Daily News reports that in the late 1980s, Robert Berdella tortured and murdered 6 individuals, sliced their bodies into little pieces, and stuffed their remains into dog food bags. In addition, he made comprehensive notes on each of his victims, which police ultimately used to confirm their killings. Berdella nearly got away with everything. It is possible that he would not have been apprehended if Christopher Bryson, age 22, had not escaped from the second story of Berdella's residence. Berdella was initially charged with sexual assault, but after obtaining a search warrant, human remains and wallets belonging to the other victims were discovered. He was given a life sentence and died in prison after a heart attack in 1992. Dennis Nielsen, who murdered young men and kept their bodies. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Dennis Nielsen terrified London by murdering 15 men over a 5-year span. Nielsen would pick up young men from pubs and transport them to his residence. There, he would choke or drown them. According to the International Business Times, he would bathe and dress the corpses after they died. He revealed to the authorities that he kept the bodies for extended periods before disposing of them, so that he could have sex with them and converse with them. Currently, he is serving a life sentence at HMP Full Sutton in Yorkshire, England. Herb Baumeister, a serial killer who stashed bodies in his backyard. People magazine reports that in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Herbert Baumeister lured gay men back to his pool house, strangled them, and dumped them in the woods behind his property. Baumeister furnished his pool area with mannequins dressed as if they were attending a pool party. Eric, the young son of Baumeister, even discovered the remains of one victim while playing in the backyard. Baumeister escaped to Ontario, Canada, where he shot himself in the head at Pinery Provincial Park, where he sensed the authorities were onto him. In his suicide note, he cited his failing marriage and business as the reason for his decision to end his life, although he never admitted to any of the murders. The police estimate that he killed between 10 and 20 individuals. Gertrude Beniszewski, the torture mother. In 1965, police discovered the malnourished remains of Sylvia Likens, a 16-year-old Indianapolis resident. According to Indianapolis Monthly, she was covered with cigarette burns and lying on a filthy mattress in the house of 37-year-old Gertrude Beniszewski. Sylvia and her sister Jenny boarded with Benezuski because of their parents' extensive travel as carnival workers. The father of the girls paid Benezuski $20 a week to house his daughters. If the money was late, Benezuski took her fury out on the females. Eventually, she targeted Sylvia alone with her beatings. But this was not a crime committed by an adult against a kid. Benezuski was the mother of 7 children, and they all participated in the brutal and sadistic attacks against Sylvia. Even youngsters as young as 10 were invited to participate or observe. No one submitted any reports. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so that you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.